Hello and welcome to another show from In the Money Media, In the Money Media YouTube channel. We'll pop up audio of this as well over on the podcast side, or maybe it'll just be a segment. Honestly, I haven't decided yet because I'm running around the country and going to be up in Toronto on Saturday. Today I'm in Nashville, but this weekend eyes are also going to be on Kentucky because first Saturday of this Churchill Downs meet, no break between Kentucky Downs, where I was yesterday, and Churchill will have the opening night card covered. I think the first card is at night. Anyway, first day we've got covered elsewhere on the network. But on this show, we're talking about Saturday, sponsored by our friends at the KTDF. JK here with me, a man who's had some pretty good memories at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, you know what's funny is you're right about that. I like Churchill Downs. I actually who did I tell this story to the other day? Dame Dorothy had an offspring in the Keeneland sale, and I was talking about that, and I told the Dame Dorothy story. I actually told Bobby. I always tell Bobby Flay that story too about Dame Dorothy, about the $300 cold pick 3.
Not too bad. We need a couple of those now. We need a couple of those in 2025, as opposed to harking back to the events of, what was that, 2015?
15, yep.
Yeah, the Pharaoh year. Yeah, not too bad. We got to get back under the Twin Spires at some point, all together as a group. But we're going to be, for me anyway, and for you, both of us working on TV elsewhere, watching Churchill on the phone Saturday night. It's a good card. It's a stakes-laden card, as I like to say. We're going to look at the last 5 races here, starting off with the 7th, which is the Locust Grove Stakes, Grade 2 action. This one's scheduled for 3:54 Eastern. I liked Alpine Princess in here, JK. I thought just had a really tricky trip from out of position last time out, generally much handier than that. And I like the fact that I think under normal circumstances can adapt to a variety of running styles. I like the switch to Irad Ortiz. Cox has been flying. I'd hear cases about all manner of backups in here, 3, 5, 6, all horses I thought had some claims, but I was very much with Alpine Princess to kick things off. How did you see it?
Yeah, single A with the 2 Alpine Princess. Kind of draw a line through the last race. When you have a speed horse that doesn't use their speed and it doesn't go well, then there's easy for me to come up with excuses. I'll use the 6 Our Pretty Woman as a B type. This one's a little tricky for me. Has some good dirt races, but the Hall of Famer and winningest trainer in North American history, Steve Asmussen, he's giving me signals here. He worked the horse on the turf on August 22nd, entered the horse in the perfect sting on the grass on August 29th at Saratoga. It feels like maybe this is maybe a backup plan. They wanted to try to get the turf in order. So there's a little bit of a lack of trust there for me. Single B.
Got it. Race number 8, Kentucky Derby points on the line, actually, in the Grade 3 Iroquois. We're going a mile under those famous Twin Spires. Interesting race. I thought there were a bunch of stories you could tell. I suppose the conversation should start with number 7, Comport, who has comported himself with quality so far and has a big numerical edge on this field and speed. Having said that, I feel like in this race every year, you'll see a horse with big numerical advantage. And because of the added distance, because of the time of year, other horses can sometimes close that gap. And with that in mind, I'm going to mention some others, some of whom will hopefully be decent prices. The 9 ball, somebody might accuse me of a hunch play for this one if they've read Matt Miller's A Better Way of Thinking. But for me, this is just a simple pedigree angle. The Code of Honors have been running really well first out, but he himself was a horse that did so much better with time and distance. 9 ball gets both of those things here. I was thinking maybe extending from that sprint could sit a little bit handier, maybe be able to finish past some of the speed. So I wanted 9s on tickets. The 1-0 Personal, another that I wanted to talk about. Lots of figure improvement to come out of that first race at Colonial. And this horse ran well through the fastest part of that race, making me want to upgrade that figure for 2 separate reasons. The 1-0 Personal I like. And then maybe if they go hammer and tongs, a lot of horses coming out, every horse in this race coming out of shorter races. If they go too fast, maybe 8 Vost for Will Walden, close so well on debut into an even pace going 7 furlongs, might be able to get the job done. So I'm very spready, 7, 9, 1, and 8 in the Iroquois. How do you see it?
Yeah, I need 3 horses in here. The top choice will be the 1-0 Personal. Drawn on the inside with tactical speed. I like that because you'll get a more of an aggressive ride from the inside to try to hold that position. Like you said, there's been a horse that's run back and won out of that debut win, going 7. Now going to the stretch out gives you a little bit more confidence. The 5 Spice Runner. This horse is a full to gunite. One of the coolest horses we've seen in the last couple of years. A horse that gunite obviously was a little bit better going shorter. But to me, when it comes to that, that's just who he was. The pedigree suggests that the horse shouldn't have any problem going further. And in all fairness, his best race last time was going 7 against Comport. I think maybe when they go a little bit further, this one could improve quite a bit. And then I'm going to use Comport as well. Has run back-to-back good races, good figures. Those are the 3 that I need. 1, 5, and whatever number Comport is, Pete.
7.
You know it. I don't.
1, 5, and 7. Yeah, I got it. I got you, man. I was ready to say the numbers. When we do these shows a little early, we don't always have them in front of us. But yes, JK tried math and succeeded there, at least on the first, if you can call counting math, which I think, in our part of the world, we will. Let's move on, my friend, to the next race on the card where the stakes action continues. We've got the Open Mind, and we're going 6.5. This is a race on paper that doesn't look to have a ton of speed. I know Impel showed some frighteningly slow early pace figures last time, but I've got the opinion that, just based on looking at some of the past form, she's got a lot more speed than she showed there, even though she was close to the pace, just how slow the sectionals were. I think she could be seen to really good effect here with a very positive ride, has back races, and just makes a lot of sense. I was also going to mention one that might be a hunch play for you, given the part of the world in which you got married. The 4, Positano Sunset. This horse has undeniable quality in the back of the PPs. I'm a little bit worried about how it's going to set up for her, but based on her quality, she's another I wanted involved in the mix. I had this one 6 and 4. Where are you?
Yeah, Impel for me. I think the cutback from the 8 furlongs is going to help quite a bit. She's drawn well outside. She's got enough tactical speed to stay connected. I'm not too worried about that. And like I said, I think the cutback's going to help quite a bit. I'll single A Impel. I'll use Positano Sunset as a B type. He'll be running late. And then I want to use Taxed as well. If you look at that race back at Oaklawn where the horse went 6 furlongs, I thought that day this was going to be way too sharp for this kind of pluggy type of horse. But she ran well that day and running down horses. She got some pace to close into, but I think she's at least a little bit interesting as a horse that has a little bit of back class, as one that could come running late. So Impel for me is a single A, and I'll use Taxed and Positano Sunset as my B's.
Positano, come on, you're half Italian.
No, that's what it is. I thought that's how you pronounce it.
Maybe with the right Italian accent, we can get the U sound in there. I go Positano. Let's start with race number 10, the Louisville Thoroughbred Society Stakes. To be fair, you've spent more time there than I have, shamefully enough on my part. The Louisville Thoroughbred Society Stakes, $300,000 in the pot. We're going 6 furlongs in this one. Some really interesting runners making their return to the races. I keep coming back to 2 of them, though. The top one for me being number 1, World Record, coming out of that 3rd at grade 1 level in the Bing Crosby. Has that angle that you mentioned before. I mean, this is a horse that's going to make no mistake and use some speed to get position going forward. Whether he ends up on the lead or letting somebody clear, probably Skelly clear, and then flopping outside, I think there's going to be a good trip for this son of gun runner. And, we've seen what he can do on his best day, and I think it's good enough to win a race like this. Ben Tornado making a return to the races for the first time since the Breeders' Cup Sprint, where he just went down half a length to Straight No Chaser. We don't need to tell you how good that form is. It's pretty intuitive. This horse, I haven't seen a clocker report, but just looking at the tab, indicating some readiness. Don't want to get beat by this one, the class of the field. I had it 1 and 3. Who's your idea of the winner in this race?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I think this is the race that makes the sequence for me. I'm gonna beat 3 horses. I'm gonna beat the 1 World Record. I'm gonna beat the 3 Ben Tornado, and I'm gonna beat Skelly. Skelly and World Record are 2 unique horses in which they only have one way of going. Like their best races are on the front end, going as fast as they possibly can, and even when they try to rate, they still go too fast. They are going to fly. Ben Tornado is fresh. They're going to fly in this race. I'm going to use the 4 Nash, who I love quite a bit in here. I think this horse is going to get a perfect setup. They come running late. I'm messing up these numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 5. Yeah, 4 and 5. The 4, Hear My Song, but Nash is, I'm going to use Hear My Song, but then Nash, the 5, is the one that I like the most in here. I'll also use Durante, who's one who I think could come running late. I'm not often do I look for races like this to fall apart. I'm a speed of the speed guy, but this is one of those situations. They're just going to go too fast.
We're totally oppo in here. See, world record has stalked and pounced before, but you think the inside is going to push the hand. I was hoping it was a get position going forward, let the other one tear off, but you think he just has to go to the front. It sounds
like. From the rail. I just don't see how he doesn't have to be sent away from there and at least to hold that position. And even if he does take back, he's naturally fast enough that he's going to be problematic for Skelly. This race, I feel like it has to fall apart.
We are in agreement that this race sets up horribly for Skelly, but one of us will be right, I would think, whether it's me getting the 1 and 3 in or you with the 5, 4, and 8. One more race to talk about, the nightcap. We've got Maidens 3 and up. Does Subito, another good Italian name, the 13 runner, get in? That's a key question. If Subito gets in, has a big numerical advantage over this field. But I did want to make a case for a horse that is a big long shot on the morning line. The 20-1 is the number on the 6, Empire Ranch. And a little bit of a pedigree angle here. I remember this dam very well. I chased this dam forever. She was a turf router for Barclay Tag, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. But I always had a thing for her. Union Rag's the sire. So they started this horse going 5.5, which the sire side says is way too short, as does actually the dam side too. This horse took money anyway, didn't really run, but whatever. We come back now. We're getting onto what I think is the right surface. Horse probably is going to need more ground than this, but going the 6 at what could be a wild price, I wanted some 6 with my 13. How do you see the nightcap?
Yeah, I mean, if the 13 gets in, ice cold single. Obviously there's some of these first time starters you could use as B types just as protection, but I wouldn't need anyone else if the 13 draws in. Otherwise, I feel like I need to use a few. I would want to have the 2, the 4, the 7, and the 10. I hate to see that many races for the 10. But, in a race where there's a lot of unknowns, at least I know that they'll get around there. They do have some ideas in terms of there are some ideas there of a horse that has some good races, maybe just trying to put it all together. But yeah, if the 13 gets in, the 13 would be a single A for me. And then I would just use some of those firsters as backups. If the 13 doesn't draw in, then I'd try to spread here. And I think some of my earlier leans elsewhere would make me be able to afford that.
Yeah, I mean, beating those big favorites in that sprint race, you've got a chance to score out if you're right about this, JK. Okay, good to have you on here. If you're watching on the In the Money Media YouTube channel, we're going to have another video with us about the big stakes at Woodbine. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel as well. Thanks so much to JK. Thanks to our friends at the KTDF. May you win all your photos.